Ready, go. Okay, ready, go. First, the frontal view. Go. So what I see is excessive rotation of your body during the backswing. And your arm is almost going that way. It's too much turn.
Okay.
Your arms can go this way here instead of going this way. And then with this much arm rotation, you don't have much wrist cock here. So still the club is about here. It does not reach the horizontal position. Your hands are way behind your body. You have excessive body rotation, but you don't have much wrist cock here. The wrist motion is an important source of club head motion. But if you turn the body a lot, but if you don't have enough wrist cock here, then you don't have that much wrist motion on the way down. So when you don't have much wrist cock here, then naturally what you'll have is a dragging pattern here, because you cannot really release the club, so you tend to drag it. Okay? So on the way down, the whole body is just turning as one unit, and then try to swing through. So this is not an efficient way to swing. Particularly, the head is quite heavy. So with this, when you have reasonable wrist cock here, on the way down here, and then you can add the wrist motion here, and you can let it go, so that the club head goes in front of your body on this side here. But if you don't have wrist cock, you don't have much room for wrist motion. What happens is you keep dragging all the way, swinging like this. And then also a heavy club head makes the dragging pattern. I checked the mass of the club and the swing weight. The mass is 314 grams. Swing weight is close to 454, which is almost the D6. It's too heavy. So the club is, in terms of mass, it's not that heavy, but you have a high swing weight. That means that the center of mass is located toward the club head. I don't know what the weight this is, but you need to use a lighter weight.
Okay.
So what happens is when the club head is too heavy, naturally you develop a dragging pattern, because it's difficult to release it. But that's why you tend to use less and less wrist motion, and then just try to swing this with the whole body, dragging it here. So you need to use a bit lighter club head. So you should be able to release the club like this. Then you can really throw the club head here. But if it's heavy, that puts a lot of burden on the wrist, so what happens is you drag it. Okay? So use a lighter head. That means you need to use a different weight here. Pink drive tends to be a heavy head. So I'm using the weight. I'm also using pink drive, but I'm using weight lighter than what it came with. Yeah, what came with the club originally. So the main thing is you should be able to mobilize your wrist here. Then when you use the wrist reasonably, then the whole body motion will be reasonable. But when you kill the range of motion of a certain joint, then the rest have to compensate that, right? So that you have excessive body motion. With this much rotation again in the frontal view, your hands are almost here, but you don't have much wrist cock here.
So it's too heavy to...
I think so. Usually, when I see this dragging pattern, I always check the club numbers. Then, usually what I see is too heavy club head.
Because I've had wrist problems in the past, so playing too much gave me wrist problems, wrist pain.
The reason for a wrist problem, either you use wrist too much, or the club is too much, so that the wrist muscles are relatively weak muscles compared to these here. And then it can put the burden on the wrist. So in that case, you have to use a bit lighter club so you can easily handle it. Okay? And then here you have excessive rotation here. And even here, what happens is your shoulder turning quite a bit, and your head is up here. Instead of in the downswing, if you let the club head go here and finish, your body doesn't have to turn that much. Because what travels a lot here is the club head. But if you drag it, your body comes up here, and then swing, and then the arm hits your chin here. Okay? Now, let's go to the down the line view here. Go. One thing, how long is the shaft? Is it regular length?
Upper.
Standard? You tend to lean forward quite a bit here in the down the line view here. So you are reaching out quite a bit here. But this is okay. The thing is, let's see, when you start, the pad looks reasonable. But see, your right arm is way behind here. You have too much rotation here, and not enough wrist cock here. So when the body turns this much here, your gaze also will move away from the ball. That's a typical symptom here. And on the way down, as you can see,
Bring the whole body.
yeah, and then also this posture here. Because you have to drag it instead of letting it go. So you need to learn how to let the club go here. So overall, it's too much. So when you use something lighter, like this whoosh stick, and then if you release the wrist, this is what happens. Without turning the body a lot, we can swing. Then the club head travels this much because the club head goes ahead of the hands. But if you come this way here, you have to slide, then let the elbow pass here, drag all the way, and by the time you finish, you have excessive body rotation here. It's because of the dragging pad. So you have to learn how to release the club. Do you still have a wrist problem?
Not often.
So you have a pain in the wrist?
It's from a previous injury.
Which side?
This side.
Then I will give you a band called the Fico band. So what it will do is it will stabilize the joint here. So when you develop a pain here, it will protect the connective tissues by sort of stabilizing the wrist joint. Okay? So if I forget at the end, remind me. So I have several bands, so I will find one that fits to your wrist size. But the key is, when you use wrist, it's not, again, wrist muscle dominant motion, but rather by using the speed here, you are letting the wrist go. So all you do is have a reasonable wrist cock.
So it's like it's allowing the pendulum motion around your body to just
So, roughly we have two pendulums here. One is formed by the arms and shoulder girdles about this point here. We have one pendulum. The second pendulum is club about the wrist here. But currently you are now using this pendulum that way. So that's why you have to turn the body, the upper pendulum a lot. You have to use both. So, so instead of swinging like this, if you use your wrist, then you will be able to develop a lot more speed, and actually swing becomes a bit easier. Okay? So now let's start with the rope swing here.